What's up, guys? Chief J here. And this is not my bike, obviously. This is PalmBeachRider's DR200S, and I am in possession of it right now. So we are going to take it for a little ride, and I will give you my impressions of it, considering I'm used to the 400. So let's just take a quick walk around here. We got that nice, the most important thing, this sticker adds like 50 horsepower to the stock 18 or so horsepower this thing makes. So it's now a complete beast. So that's a super cool mod right there. It has a drum rear brake and a disc front. I'm not sure the size of it. It says single piston caliper, I think. He's got a DG slip-on on it. Otherwise, it's pretty much, that's the only engine-ish mod done to the bike. Has a set of Pro Taper Contour Woods bars on here. Some fatty bars, some hand guards. Hey, look, it's me. You can see my nose. Yeah, otherwise, got this sweet PalmBeachRider sticker here. That's how you know it's whose bike it is. If he ever sees it and forgets that it's his, he knows. So yeah, let's start this thing up real quick. It is a everything's analog, as you can tell, compared to the digital cluster, gauge cluster on my DRZ. Yeah, it would help if I turned the key first, wouldn't it? There we go. Yeah, so that's what it sounds like. Let's go around here to near the can. Pretty good sounding little bike. So let's take it for a ride, shall we? Alright, so obviously it is down on power on my 400. This makes, I believe, 18 horsepower, 17 or 18 stock. My 400 makes somewhere around 30. The clutch engagement is a little bit, it's way further actually than mine is, which actually is kind of cool because it makes it easier to two-finger it without your hands getting in the way. Mirrors are alright, can see pretty good out of them. It's actually a lot smoother than my bike is. On higher revs, like mine gets really vibey at higher revs. It's better at keep it in the low. This seems happy pretty much everywhere. Alright, let's try these brakes. Pretty good, especially considering the drum rear. I mean, they're no sport bike brakes, but neither is my DRZ, not like a Z1000 or anything. I keep having to get used to it. It's way lower. It's actually a lot more comfortable than my DRZ is, due to the fact that I think it's lower, and it's also got actually a much wider, plusher seat than mine, like seriously plush. Okay, so I said how much power difference there is, but let's actually talk about what the difference feels like. When I twist the throttle, obviously it takes a lot longer to do anything, but it's not as bad as you might think. It doesn't feel like I'm on a scooter or anything. It feels like it's got power to handle the road. The fuel economy on this bike is ridiculous. It's got a bigger tank than mine, 2.6 versus, I want to say, a 3.2. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. And it sips gas. Like, I think this thing gets like 80 miles to the gallon or something ridiculous like that. Versus mine getting around 50 or so, depending on how much I like to do this on mine. I get around 100 miles to my tank before hitting reserve. This bike will go around 170 or so indicated, which is freaking ridiculous. It's super flickably light. Like, it's ridiculous. Oh, that's not good. Like, this bike just, it just wants to go like all over the place, which probably isn't as good again on the highway, but let's be honest, this bike is not designed for the highway, and if you want to use it as a highway bike, well, you probably could from like one exit to the other, but I don't know why you'd want to do that long term. So let's talk about what this bike is really for. Commuting around town and going in the dirt a little bit. These brakes are surprisingly good. The drum brake on the rear definitely, I mean, whoops. you can definitely tell it's a drum, and it's more on-off, less modulation than a disc, but it does the job. I do wish it had a disc rear, but you know, that's I suppose a minor gripe. I don't know if you can convert it over, but anyways. Yeah, so for like around town blasting and just having some fun off-road, I can't really fault this thing very much. I mean, you could say it needs more power, but that's not the point of this bike. If you know, I always think it's funny when people are like, oh, a small displacement bike, it doesn't have any power. Because that's, I mean, obviously it doesn't have any power. What you lose in power, you gain in flickability. Let's test these tires in the dirt just a little bit. That's not bad. But see, that's the thing. You can't do that kind of stuff with a sport bike. You can't just be like, hey, yo, let's go here. You can just have a lot of fun with this sort of thing. Anyways, alright, so, that's not, let's see if we can catch a red light. How often do you hear me say that? Let's see if we can catch a red light. Ah, here we go. Okay, this one's turning red. And I'll try and accelerate this thing as quick as I can. And we'll see how fast I can get up to, this is a 40 road, so we'll see how fast I can get up to about 40 or so. I weigh 150 pounds, roughly. My launch probably won't be super good because I'm not used to this bike, but, you know, whatever, deal with it. The mirrors, the stock mirrors are surprisingly good. A lot of stock mirrors, you can't see crap. I can actually see things just fine with these. They are a little big. All right, let's do this. And I'm 40. I'm at 40. That's not bad. And I'll bet you that's quicker than a lot of people think this bike is. This thing's no slouch. The torque is definitely better than like a Ninja 250. Overall, I like this bike a lot. If it's going to be your only bike, I don't know if this is the best choice. Only because you're limited in that you can't really do highway too much. But if you have a street bike already and you're looking for a fun little dual sport around, or you're a younger kid, you don't really have much biking experience, and you just want something for around town, this is a great bike. And you can pick them up for dirt cheap. Everything about this bike is inexpensive. It is inexpensive to buy, inexpensive to own, insure, gas up, everything. So, yeah, I like this thing a lot. It is definitely, despite having half the displacement of my DRZ, it definitely is much more than half the bike that my DRZ is, if you know what I mean. This is a great little bike. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, be sure to like it, shoot me a comment, subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and I really, really appreciate it. Anyways guys, I'll catch you in the next video. We weren't riding along, just freaking taking, we don't have built-in helmet bongs, I'll put it that way.